Hello. Hey guys, welcome to Notary Life with Kimmy. I hope all is well. I wanted to do this video and I'm doing like a 3 or 4 part series. Today's video is called, though, I was scared to become a loan signing agent. So I did another video recently. I was scared to start doing apostilles, but now I'm not. And I think sometimes we make it look a little easy. So I wanted to do like a little transparency. I've never shied away from how I found the notary business. I was a notary before. I lost my sister in 2019, and during that time, her friend visited her at the hospital, and I just casually asked her, I said, hey, what you doing for work? And she told me she was a notary. And I came home and started doing my research, and then I came and got my commission that October, November-ish, and then waited till the following year, which is 2020, when I actually started doing my business full-time after I lost my father. Actually, I was still part-time, but I started doing it more. I started really researching and finding out what is this notary thing all about. So, again, for those of you who may be new, I'm in the state of Georgia. So when I started trying to research becoming a loan signing agent, there was no information out there. So that made me terrified. I couldn't find anyone that was even willing to speak about it. So I kept saying to myself, if no one's talking about it, I'm watching all these YouTube videos, there's something to this notary thing, notary signing agent to be specific. And I just couldn't figure it out. So I kept doing my research. I ended up, I believe, at the NNA. And I saw that there was a test involved. So I was like, what is this test all about? So I found out about the test, let's say around maybe March, April. I found out about this test. I found out that I had to become a notary signing agent. Again, still unsure what I could do in my state. Which made me fearful. I was like, what if I do something, I end up in jail? Because I know we're an attorney state, so I just wasn't sure my duties. I didn't know how to properly notarize because I was what you would call a work notary. And at work notary, it's just that. They push documents in front of you, you just stamp, you don't know why. I do recall we wrote in a journal, but it wasn't my journal, it was the company's journal. So there were so many things about being a notary signing agent that were just terrifying to me, okay? So I figured it out. I said, I got to take this test. So again, that was around March, April, something like that. Around August, I said, I'm going to take this test. I do not like to be defeated. So I said, I'm going to take the test. So I took the notary signing agent test 4 times. 4 times. I've talked about this before. It's just that I was reading it, but I wasn't reading it. I didn't even know what to expect. I hadn't really done any notarizations. Maybe 1 or 2. I mean, something really quick. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I hear that all the time. People will do that. I don't recommend it now. I'm on the other side of that. Much on the other side. I'm a trainer. I have my own really successful business. So I don't recommend just starting out. And that's what most people will do, what I did. Okay. So I took the test. I failed it. I took it 4 times. So it is a 45 question test. It's really more of an ethical test to make sure you won't forge people's signatures, make sure you won't backdate documents, things like that. But it doesn't teach you how to be a notary. So I passed the test on the 4th try. It is technically open book. And even though it's open book, every time I would go to try to do something with it, like I answered a question wrong or looking for the answer, it just wasn't clear because the way the test is written, the question might say, what color ink should you use? What color ink? And you might be looking for the answer blue in the cheat sheet part or the notes, but it doesn't say that. It just says use a pen. So you're technically guessing, do I use blue or do I use black? Because it doesn't really say it, okay? That's just an example. So I took the test, like I said, 4 times. I finally passed it. I was so ecstatic. I was telling everybody here in the house, we were still during COVID. And I'm jumping up. I'm like, I passed on the 4th try, right? Now, I'm still terrified because I took the notary signing agent class from the NNA. But don't forget, I actually worked at the bank for 20 years, right? 10 years in Atlanta and 10 years in Detroit, Michigan. So I had some idea of mortgage terms, the numbers and all that kind of stuff. So I had a heads up or a leg up more than most. Most people just find out about it on YouTube, TikTok, or something like that, and they want to become one. They just go out and get the certification, don't know anything else. So I did have a leg up. So I understood. I took the test and everything, and I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. So my first assignment, I went ahead and started with some signing companies, and lo and behold, the next day I started signing up. I got called from a company. It was a $30 job. And I was like watching YouTube like everybody else. And I said, YouTube said I shouldn't take a $30 job. They said I shouldn't do that. So I didn't take it. I didn't take it for 30 days. So around 30 days later, and I was getting these jobs every day, all day actually. 3 or 4 hits per day. That's what me and my husband call it. 3 or 4 alerts on my phone every day. And I'm like, dang, I said, that's kind of adding up. And finally, I said, well, you know what, Kim? You don't know anything. So take a job just to see what it's like, because you don't really know anything, right? So I started taking these little $30 jobs, and that's what I encourage you to do too. I know I'm going to get some feedback, pushback, whatever you want to say. Some people say, well, that ain't worth my time. I spent all this money. I got this printer, and I bought all the stuff, but I didn't buy it all at one time. I did realize I need a printer because I had a printer already. We had an office printer, but then I realized I need a double tray printer. So as I started making more money and I realized I need legal and letter size, then we went ahead and started investing in more equipment. As I was making more money with my general notary money that I was making. So as I was making more money, I was putting back into the business, buying this equipment. Okay, so I don't recommend you go out and just start spending willy-nilly, you know, $1,500, $2,000. I have plenty of videos on how much my equipment costs, but everything for me to get started was around the $2,000 mark. Okay, so anyway, I started taking these $30 jobs, and I was knocking it out the park. I really was. So I started looking at the documents, learning them. They were pretty much the same job every time. They were loan modifications, something quick like 2 notarizations. But I started actually looking at the documents, not to where I wanted to explain the documents to the clients, but I just needed to know what I was doing. So I started taking some of those jobs. So I would tell you that take some of those jobs. If you just starting out, especially once you get a little bit of training under your belt, take them so you can know what to do. So I started mastering those. So I was knocking them out the box 2, 3, 4 a day. And then I started working with some of the bigger players. So then I got a call from another signing company. It was a real job. I call it a real one because it was a refinance. I had never did one before. I'm like, oh my God, right? So I get this job from this refi, and I called the lady back. They sent over the documents. I looked at the documents. I said, well, let me just look at them. So I'm calling the person that I'll call my mentor. He actually did notarizations for my parents. My dad was in a nursing home. And when he came out, he was like, well, why aren't you doing anything with your notary? I was like, At that time, I still really wasn't interested, like, to make it a business. But I had all my commission. I had my stamp and everything. But I just put it on the back burner, mainly because I was still caring for my dad. But once I lost him, like I said, started taking these jobs. So I took this job and I got the documents. I looked it over and I was like, ooh, what is this? So I'm looking it over, and it was a little bit different than the loan modification. Loan modification only has like 2 notarizations required. This package had like 10 notarizations, little initials here. It was just like, oh my God. So anyway, before the lady even gave me the job though, I was honest with her. I said, this is my first time. I said, if I have any questions, is it possible I can call you? So I did ask my little mentor a few things. He gave me some answers. He was very nice, but he couldn't do my whole package with me. So some of it I had to just look on the internet. I started Googling what this form is. And that's a tip I'm going to leave you even as I'm going through this with you now. Me being afraid. When I was afraid, Google was my best friend. If I didn't know what a document was, because you won't know what every document is, you just won't. I don't care whose training you take. They cannot show you every single document. Our documents come from all over the 50 states. It's not just going to be refis for your state. It's going to be refis for every state, okay? California does things different than Georgia. Georgia does things different than Connecticut. We all do things just a little bit different, okay? So that being said, the lady was super nice, and she went over some things with me, and because there was a few things in there, even in a loan signing package, there will be documents sometimes where it's not clear if they even need to sign it. Did you know that? Yeah, it's called a letter of explanation. Okay, no one talks about that in training. That was not in the NNA training. It wasn't, so I had to figure that out. And yes, it needs to be signed. Okay. And we teach you that in our loan signing training. So I called the lady back. I was like, does this need to be signed? Because I said everything in this package must be accounted for, I guess, some kind of way. Everything doesn't need to be signed. So you just don't know, right? If you don't know, you don't know. Okay, so she was super nice. She explained some things over with me, and I turned it in. It was a great package. Scan backs, everything went well. All that being said, the main reason I was fearful of becoming a notary signing agent are a few things. The NNA test. There was no reason for me to be afraid, because if I had taken my time to read it, it is, like I said, semi-open book. I could have passed it the first time, which I did pass it after 4 tries. So I was terrified of that test. Most people are. I'm not going to recommend that you try to find the answer somewhere. I don't even put the answers anywhere. No one should do that. I think ethically you need to know how to do the work. Okay, so please don't go out and buy the answers to the NNA test. Please. All right, figure it out. Number 1, because you want to be a business owner. You want to be a business boss, and bosses don't cheat, okay? They don't. Not in my world. Now, I don't know what they do in the real world, but in the world I live in, we work from a point of ethics, okay? So figure out the test. It's not that hard. It's really not. But what I recommend is taking our loan signing agent training, which we equip you for everything. So that's why I created my own training. Let's go to that really quick. I created my own training because our notary signing agent training, if you do it self-paced or if you do it live or one-on-one, whatever you prefer, it's real life. The NNA training is a lot of click here, point there, do this, do that. But if you don't have a clue what you're pointing at or clicking at or anything about the industry, it's going to be complicated for you. So we find a lot of people, they may go ahead and buy the larger package with the NNA. I recommend you get the smallest one and take our training. But I find that they buy the largest package, which is about $300 for most states. They still have to come back to us to have us explain it in a real simple, uncomplicated way. Okay, so they can be a good notary signing agent, an expert, a great one, okay? Because we don't even want you just to be good. Good is guessing. We want you to be great. We want you to be a notary signing agent like a pro, okay? So yes, I was afraid. I was also afraid of signing up with signing companies. I didn't know that process. What does that look like? What are they looking for? What's a profile, right? We go over all of this in training. So I had to figure these things out on my own. I didn't have anyone to call and say, hey, what's a notary signing agent profile? What do they want? What, you know, I didn't have that. What are they looking for experience when I really didn't have experience, you know? So we kind of give you some workarounds with that, how to get past it and how to get jobs even though you don't have any experience. Because when you're first starting out, you won't have any, right? You're just starting out. So that was also frightening. Signing up with signing companies. How do they pay? You know, the contracts. How do you determine what's a good one? What's a bad one? What rate of pay should I be expecting? All of these things I kind of had to figure out because I didn't pay anyone for training. So I always explain it this way. We've taken everything, myself, Alexis is one of our trainers, Jeffrey, and Angela. We're all, you know, part of the Notary Educators team. NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. All of us have taken our experiences and what we've learned at the actual tables, signing tables, and put it into a simplified course for you. So it took me years, literally, to learn, okay, you want to do it this way. Do I use stickies? What color ink do I use? How do I send it back to FedEx? I mean, how much should they be paying me? What type of job packages are out there? What's the difference between a home equity loan and a loan modification? What's the difference between a refi? You know, all of these things are what you need to know. But I will tell you this, the way we teach, you don't have to worry about what kind of package you're presented with because we teach you in such a simple, uncomplicated way that you will know what to do at your next loan signing. So don't be like me. Don't be scared. It's not that complicated. I have zero regrets about becoming a notary signing agent. It's the best thing I ever did. It has changed my life, my husband's life, and the other 2 trainers that work with me, all of us. Angela was not a loan signing agent. She didn't even think it was important. She was like, I don't have to do that. I'm getting business. I was like, but you can get even more business. So she'll tell you all the time if you watch any of our lives that I was the one instrumental in helping her to become a notary signing agent. I also helped Jeffrey, my husband. I helped him to become a notary and a notary signing agent. I also helped Alexis. For those of you who do not know, Alexis is my niece. She has her own successful business in her side of town. Okay, her mother is the one that I was visiting in the hospital that I was talking about earlier that we lost. Okay, in 2019. So she has her own successful business. So from me overcoming my fear to be a notary signing agent, I've not only helped the 3 trainers that I have on my team, but thousands of other notaries to start and grow their notary business. So please feel free to join our free Facebook group. Facebook is Notary Educators Facebook group, completely free. Check out our training, Notary Signing Agent Training at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. And before you can do anything, I highly recommend checking out Notarize Like a Pro. That's either self-paced or live also. And that's going to teach you how to properly notarize documents as a notary, and then you become a notary signing agent, okay? Because everything starts with being a notary first. Well, these are some things and reasons why I was afraid to start, my notary signing agent journey. But I, again, have no regrets. I'm wishing the same thing for you. So if you need any help, reach out to us. It'll be our pleasure, okay? Until next time, this is Notary Life with Kimmy. Bye.